Yo, 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 what's up, guys? Welcome back to the fourth episode of Yarns with Marns. It's been a while since I recorded an episode last, I think about probably well over a month. Since then, I've had my 21st, so that took up a bit of time, and then I think we counted back the last 6-7 weekends we've had something on, so been a bit of a full-on time. Not so much like anything too important, just a few 21sts to go to. Went away for Labor weekend to Tauranga and just stuff like that, but hoping to get back into it. When I first started this podcast this year, like I wrote down back in January kind of what I wanted to do for the year, and I wanted to start a podcast and put out at least 10 episodes. So this is episode 4, and I think it's November 10th today, so 6 more to put out after this, and like it's kind of we'll just see how we go. I'm looking to get some guests on. It is getting close to Christmas, so I know a lot of people will be busy, so I'm not sure how realistic that will be, but kind of just going with the flow with this. I don't really have a set schedule. Definitely next year I'll have a schedule of how often these episodes and stuff will come out, but today's episode is going to be a bit about, yesterday I put it on my Instagram and Facebook on Sunday, so today's Tuesday. On Sunday I had a Romiromi and a miri, which is kind of like a traditional Mauri healing practice, which is like kind of like a massage, but it's like it's deeper than that. Like it's kind of like on a spiritual level. And also on that same day I had my first like reading from like a psychic, one of those people that kind of talks to like your spirit, your wairua. So I had both of that. So I'm getting stuck with my words. So for my birthday, a good friend of my family's, Vanessa and her sons, the Magic Johnsons, they said that instead of just like, or for my birthday present, as part of my present to me from them, they'd pay for me or take me to go see, to get a reading done. So originally I thought it was just a reading. I still really had little knowledge of what a Romiromi was until really I rocked up. And so I thought I was just getting a reading done. And so I showed up on Sunday and had a Romiromi, which was, wow, that's deep on another level. And then the psychic reading was on another level too. So in this episode, I'm just kind of pretty much share my experiences. It was my first time getting a reading. I know a lot of people had readings before, and I got a few comments on my Instagram post. I was actually typing that post out, and I wasn't going to do a podcast because I was meant to explain everything in that Instagram post, but I was just typing, and Instagram said that I had exceeded my limit for things I could write. So there was just so much stuff to get out and explain that it was kind of, it wasn't enough to just type out. So I was thinking it'll be easier to just explain it through this podcast. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm trying not to make it long. I know we're already nearly 3 minutes in, and it's a bit of rambling, but Romiromi is like a traditional Māori healing to release and, I guess release deep tension in the body. So, I heard someone say to me the other day that like the person that's, so like use your feet, your knees, your hands. This is all new to me. I learned this all on Sunday, and I heard that like the person, I guess I don't want to call it, definitely not a masseuse because it's not like just a massage. There's more to it. The person doing it is helping to get all like some negative energy and stuff out of you. So it was good. But while I was doing this Romiromi, I was listening to this guided audio, and so the Māori lady that put it on, she was doing it, and she put this guided audio on. And at the start of the audio, it said because I was lying on my back in a dark room, and it said to place my hands on my stomach and just feel your pito, which is like your belly button, and to kind of just imagine in your head your umbilical cord connecting to your mum's umbilical cord, or your mama's umbilical cord back when you were still like in her womb, in her whare tangata. And so I was imagining that, and it got pretty deep. Like I was imagining myself inside my mum's puku in the whare tangata, and then it said 4 deep breaths, and so the 4 deep breaths were every breath. The first one was to imagine you inside your mum's whare tangata puku, And then the second one was to imagine your mum inside your nan's, and then the third one was to imagine your nan inside your great nan, and then so on, and for every breath. And then after a while, it was just to imagine all the umbilical cords of all your like your nans and connecting to your great nans. I'm trying not to ramble too much, but hopefully that makes sense. And so that got me like that was probably 5 minutes into this Romiromi, and I was kind of going to a deep level. Like I was just in a kind of like a spiral. I just saw lots of kind of, it was just like a spiraling effect of all my great grandparents and their umbilical cords and all connecting and stuff like that. And so I think I was already in a deep state at that point. And then I was lying on my back in this dark room, and I think the curtains started to like fly open a little bit because of the wind. And as I was lying with my eyes closed, I could just see like glimpses of white, like my eyes. And you know, when you close your eyes and it's all dark, mine was all white, kind of like, and that symbolized for me like when you open your eyes for the first time in life. Like, so I was imagining, okay, I was in my mum's puku, in the whare tangata, our umbilical cords were linking up, and then I was opening my eyes for the first time and like experiencing life. And then there was a lot of instruments and stuff playing in the background, and then I just started to go to a real deep level, and somehow I ended up watching myself being born. So I was in the Lower Hutt Hospital in 1999, standing in the corner, and I was watching my mum give birth to me, and it was crazy. And I saw myself as a baby, and I don't know how I got to such a deep state, but my dad was there, my brother was there. I also saw my auntie and my sister there, but my mum actually tells me that they weren't actually there. But beforehand, on the way to the hospital, my mum said my sister was crying so bad because she wanted to see me be born. She was hard up crying, and so my mum dropped her off to my auntie. So my sister was with my auntie, so she didn't get to watch me be born. But for some reason in this vision, I saw my auntie and my sister there. So maybe it was like on a spiritual level. Maybe they wanted to so badly be there that they were actually just there in spirit. And so those are all the people I saw in the room watching me be born, and it was real deep. I was thinking, wow, like it got me a bit emotional. And then yeah, and then I saw my mum holding me for the first time, and it was weird because I was thinking, I was born at 7 p.m. on the dot, and I was looking out the window, like in my vision, I was looking out the window, and it was broad daylight. And my mum told me it was daylight because of daylight savings, but I was thinking, no, this can't be right. Like I was trying to put all the pieces to the puzzle together. And then when I saw my mum kiss me for the first ever time, it's like, you know, those filters you get on like Instagram where it like muddles up your face. It kind of like, her face was like that. Like her face was like kind of like drooped into mine, and it was weird. Well, it wasn't weird. It was deep because the way I saw it was like her love for me. Like, you know, obviously I would never have this feeling, but your mother will carry you for 9 months, and then she finally gets to hold you and kiss you. And like, there must be such a deep level of love. And so I watched my mum kiss me, and it looked like her face had a filter on it because it just like all drooped into mine. And like the way I see it is that was her love for me coming out, like holding me for 9 months and finally getting to hold me and kiss me. And the way I see it also is like, those are my features that I get from my mum probably coming into me. Like, you know, like I might have similar features to my mum, and that's probably how the 9 months they developed too. But that was the first physical life, I guess, physical part of life for me. So that was pretty deep, that Romiromi, and I really didn't want it to end. I couldn't get past the hospital room. I couldn't get to any later stages in my life. Maybe I've got that audio for it. So actually I can send that. If anyone wants the audio, I might be able to link it below on the YouTube version of this podcast. If anyone wants to, like, it was kind of like a meditational thing, if that's a word. And so, yeah, and so I couldn't quite get past the hospital room. And so I finished up the Romiromi. It was good, actually, physically too, a lot. The Romiromi was mean for like, whoa, I trained heaps last week. And so my body was a bit tight, and I was thinking about going to get a massage, and I'm glad I didn't, because this Romiromi was like perfect. There was no oils used. The fire she used her feet, her knees, her hands. She like clicked my fingers, my toes, and stuff like that. So it was cool. Like if you're looking to get something like to help release some stress from your body or some deep tension. I'd highly recommend this. Like, it was quite sore, but it was different to a normal massage because they encourage you to focus on your breathing a lot and to breathe out the tension. And as she's pushing deep into your deep tissue, she tells you to take a deep breath out and like breathe it all out. So it's different to a normal massage, I believe, in my opinion, and that was my experience too. So Romiromi, Midi, I think they all kind of go along the same lines. I'm definitely going to experience this again. Like, that was my first time, definitely won't be my last. And so I think that pretty much wraps up the Romiromi. But also, so I came out of there. It took me a while. That she asked me what my experience was. She came in, she gave me some time to chill out, and then she came in and said, like, how was that? And I told her, and she said she was blown away. She was like, wow, that's so cool. You connected on that kind of level. Like, it's so cool that you connected on a deep level. And I was like, yeah, that took me on a bit of a journey, which was real cool and empowering. I was kind of blown away afterwards, not even just by how good my body felt afterwards, but just like I pretty much just watched myself being born. My mind rewinded 21 years and watched myself being born again. And then so I came out, and about an hour later, Tapahia Heke, Matua Tapahia, who done my psychic reading. He's a superhero reader, so I think he's based in Levin. Actually, he lives in LA, but because of COVID, he's home. I think anyone can contact him. I don't know if this is true, but if anyone wants to get a reading from him after hearing my experience, you might want to, because it was pretty damn deep. It was pretty good. And so he rocked up, and I talked to him for a little bit. My brother, who I had on 2 episodes ago, who's a wrestler, Tapahia used to be a wrestler too, so he knew a bit about my brother, so we connected for a bit. And then we were just having a feed, and he knew he was reading me. And so he said, oh, are you ready to go? And I said, yep, ready to go. And then Vanessa, who I was with, she said, oh, hold on, Tapahia, he's just having a feed. And he said, no, I think we better go now. So I asked him why he said we needed to go now. Like, I was still had lots of food on my plate to eat. And he said he didn't want anything to come in between us and the reading. Like, he didn't want any distractions. He didn't want me to get a phone call and then it mucks up the reading. He said he got a sense, I guess, that the time to have the reading was now. So I took the plate of food with me. I didn't eat it in there, but we just went into a room. You don't even have to do it anywhere special. Went into the room, talked for a bit. He showed me what he's been doing, his mahi in LA. He's read Forrest Whitaker, the actor, or like big time actor. I think he said he read, I think it was like the producer or some lady to do with the movie Aquaman, and he was trying to G up a reading with Jason Momoa, but because of COVID and stuff, it had to be delayed. So we caught up for a bit, and then he started the reading, and I said to him beforehand, I said, does anyone cry during these? Because I'm quite an emotional person. I think I might like tear up or cry and stuff, and I'll get to it a bit soon, but I ended up bawling my eyes out. It was deep. Like, he was just trying to get a feel for what I wanted to do. And, at the start, so what he does is he's a superhero reader. So he said he doesn't want to just do like the generic readings and stuff. Well, that stuff's cool. He does do that, but his thing he's known for is for doing superhero readings. So he said he collected comic books when he was younger, and him and his brother, and when his mum passed away, he started to, I can't remember exactly how, but he started to find out or whatever that he can do these readings. And so he told me what he does. So he tells people what their strengths are in this world, like their superpowers. He gives them a superhero name, kind of like their outfit. And so I think you're allowed to share all this stuff. If Tapahia listens to this or someone watches and you're not allowed to share this stuff, just tell me and I'll take it off. But so my nickname was Cowl, and I thought he said cow at the start, like the animal, and I was like, oh, that's a out of it name, but it was Cowl, Cowl, and it's like the thing that Batman wears, and he keep referencing Batman and Bruce Wayne to me, and so he said that I'm kind of like, I live a life kind of like Batman and Bruce Wayne. So like Bruce Wayne, you see him in the public eye or whatever, and like he's out there living his life, but when he goes home and he puts his cowl on, which is that hood mask thing that Batman wears, it's kind of like he's in his own, people don't know so much what's going on in his life. And he was saying that maybe relates to me. And the way I saw it was when I was going through a tough time mentally, I think a lot of people thought that I had it all together, playing basketball at a I guess high-ish level. People probably thought it was all sunshine and rainbows, but behind closed doors, and the way he put it, in the shadows, things weren't so good. And so he said that my character, my superhero, lives a lot of his life in the shadows, so in the dark, doing the things that no one really sees, which I guess is true, because I've always considered myself an introvert. And he said all he's seen, because he just closes his eyes, and he said all he sees is darkness and shadows. But he said also in the corner he sees a big moon, so there's a lot of light coming in. So what he said was, my superpower in this world, and I can 100% relate to this, is he said I lived a lot of my life in the darkness, and my superpower is helping to pull others from the darkness and showing them the light. So he said I wear this cloak. My superhero wears this cloak, and I'm all dark. But when I pull out these tools, he said I don't even have a utility belt. I just pull them out of my cloak. He said it's crazy. Pull them out of my cloak, and it's like they're like glowing, so they're light. So it's like I bring light to others, and that makes sense, because the mahi I do now, like, people might be struggling mentally, physically, or anything, and I like to help a lot of people and talk to people about their struggles, and I guess help them find the light. So that relates very well. He said he can imagine me running rooftop to rooftop like Batman. A lot of people think it's all perfect and stuff, but another superpower was I'm able to shrink or increase in size to help others. So say if like someone was stuck on the rooftop, not physically, but I can increase in size to help them off. But like I kind of know the way he means like that. Like, no matter what someone's going through or whatever, I can kind of adapt to help them out. And so that was pretty deep. Like, it was pretty cool to hear that. Like, because that definitely relates to the journey I've been on, helping others and helping myself. And he said, I'll definitely, like, the way I can do this is because I can relate. Like he said, a lot of people can help others, but they might not have their own experiences. And he said because I didn't really tell him anything about this kind of stuff. So he knew kind of already, because he's obviously like a psychic, I guess. And he knew what I'd been through kind of. And so we talked about that a bit more. What else happened? So yeah, we talked, and then we talked a bit about my goals. And so he asked me what I wanted to do in life. And I told him I want to play in the NBA. I want to play basketball at a high level. And then he wasn't quite sure. Like, he was like, yeah, I know you do. Like, that's a goal of yours. Like, we talked a bit about your basketball, but what do you really want to do? And I was like, oh, like, what does he mean? And then he said, like, I know you want to play in the NBA, but I think there's more to it than that. And I said to him, well, I do want to play in the NBA real bad. And I want to use that platform that I get from being in the NBA or playing basketball at a high level to be like a voice for Mauri and for like mental health and helping people out. Kind of like similar to things to like people like Mike King. He was a comedian, but now he's got that platform. He can speak up. And like John Kerwin, he was an All Black, but now he's got that All Black platform that he can speak about his stuff like depression.org.nz, what he does. So that's kind of like similar to what I wanted to do. And then he said, like, because he wasn't really feeling it when I was just saying just the NBA. And so when I said that, he said, yep, that's exactly right. He said, like, the NBA is like a goal of yours, but like your life purpose is kind of to help others and kind of find that journey now. And so that makes perfect sense. And that's exactly, it's kind of weird because what he said and what I was thinking like matched up. So that might have been because he was saying like the NBA is not the be or end all, if that's the way you say it. And so that might have been a tough like pill, I guess, to swallow, but it was, I guess he was right. Like, it might not be the end of the world. He was saying what I do after that will be like the thing, I guess, of my life. So I'm still definitely gonna keep chasing this dream and just ride the wave. Like I trust everything he says, but that's not gonna like I'm just gonna just go with the flow, I guess, see how it pans out. Like, because he was saying too, like you've passed obviously some obstacles this year. He just knew. And then he was saying you've got a few more obstacles to come. Like, obviously in life, that's just what life is. Like, they're going to throw you curveballs, they're going to throw you lots of stuff. And so he was saying, like, you've got a few more obstacles to come. Like, I'm sorry to say that. And I said, no, you don't have to apologize. Like, that's just life. I know that's life. Like, I've already known that on this journey. I could have the best week ever, and then the next week could be the worst week. So I already know that's life. And then, so we were talking some more, and then there was a bit more in between. I can't remember too much. I've actually voice recorded it all. So it was about an hour and 25 minutes, this reading. And I voice recorded it all, so I've got it all saved. If you're watching the YouTube video, my camera just died, so I just had to change the camera. But so we went on with the reading, and then he just paused for a bit, and he said to me, like he just said randomly, he said, "Hey, hey," he said, "Have you lost anyone close to you recently?" And then I couldn't really talk. Like I just nodded my head. A little bit of a tear came down, and then he said something along these lines. Not exactly. He said like, because I'm getting a feeling that there's someone that's like come to see you or something. And then so he's like, "I'm sorry. I'm a bit embarrassed to do this. I'm sorry to do this." But he gave me a real big hug, and then I just started bawling my eyes out and burst into tears. And he was crying or tearing up a bit too. And then he sat down and he said, I'm not sure who that was. Sorry, I just had a sense that someone said, hug this boy. And we talked about it, and he said, I'm sorry about that. He said, you're probably thinking I'm a weirdo. And I said, no. Well, last November, my pop, he passed away. In the last 2 days, I've been with him at the Urupa, because it's been his Urupa's cemetery, and it's been his birthday. So we've just been tidying him up and stuff. And he said, oh, is that who that was? And then, it was so deep. I was tearing up so much. And then he stopped again, and he said, I'm sorry. He just keeps telling me to do this. And so he came and he hugged me and gave me some afi, gave me some love. And, he was just doing that. And then he just said like, he was just kind of like talking to my pop, and he said he's wanted to do that for ages. He said my pop has wanted to connect with me for a while, but he hasn't found like a way to get through. So, and I said, what do you mean? And he said like, when like spirits, obviously he's not a physical being anymore. He said they can't connect properly with a physical being. So my pop, obviously he's a spirit. He's in the afterlife. And so he couldn't connect directly with me. So he connected with me through Tapahia. He saw that I was with Tapahia, and he's obviously, on a spiritual level. And so he connected with me through Tapahia. So that was probably the highlight of the whole thing. Like, he's been going for just under a year now. It's been like so today's November 10th. He passed away November 20th. And so like just under a year, and that's kind of the first thing. And then so I was just like, I was blown away that, damn, my pop's in the room. And then he continued to talk to him a little bit, and he said, he wants me to tell you that he's with you everywhere you go. Like he said, he's never not with you. And so that was so relieving, I guess, to hear, like, because I talked to him a lot. I've gone down the beach and said karakia to my pop before, and I don't know too much about whether or not he hears me, but obviously that was a sigh, I guess, of relief that he does hear me. And so Tapahia said that he wants you to know that he's proud of you wherever you go and whatever you do. And he said that he's so proud. Like he said, he's just looking at him right now, and he's just so proud of me. And he said then he said this line. He said he's proud of you because he knows that you could have taken another path. And so we talked some more, and then I said to him, what do you mean by another path? Like, what did you mean by that? And then he said, well, and I said, like, what do you mean? Because he said you could have went down the wrong path. And I said, what do you mean the wrong path? And then he said, I think you know. And I said, oh, do I? And he said, yep, you know. Say it out loud. So I said what I thought, and I said, do you mean like I could have went down the path of like taking my own life, of suicide? And Tapahia said, yep, that's exactly right. Like, your pop knows that you had a tough time and you could have went down that path, but he's smiling right now with pride because he knows you didn't go down that path. And so, wow, I was crying so much because I was thinking, I didn't know anyone knew that. Like, I thought, and I said to him, well, I only really had like suicidal thoughts. It wasn't so much I didn't self-harm. I didn't attempt to do anything like that. And he said, no, well, you're only a couple of thoughts away. And I didn't tell Tapahia anything about this. Like, I told him I struggled a bit mentally, but it's crazy because he said, like, your pop's proud of you because you could have went down the wrong path. And the wrong path he meant was suicide. And I didn't tell him anything about that. So that was crazy to hear. And I was just smiling so much. And then he said, your pop is standing with you and he's never going to let anything get to you, like, or like hurt you. He's going to challenge you, obviously. That's part of life. But then he also said that, he said, wow, I just see so many people standing here with pride. And I said to him, well, I haven't had too many people pass away that real close to me, like direct. Like my pop is definitely the closest. I haven't had too much immediate whānau pass away. And then he said, no, I think some of these people aren't immediate. And I said, you mean like people I haven't met? And he said, I think this is dating back to like long ago. And so, that was like, I guess another, relieving thing to hear. And then he said, hey, where are you from? And I told him like where I whakapapa from. And then he said, oh, that's strange because I'm seeing a little white lady with white hair or standing here next to you. And then I said, oh, well, my grandfather's from Scotland. He migrated to New Zealand when he was 5 years old with his mother, which Nanny Jeannie. And so that's where I get my last name Dougal from. So my last name's actually Dougal Mita. And so he said that makes perfect sense. And he said, she's standing with you here too. And he said that must be her who's standing with you. And so I've never met her in my life. And so that made it so cool because he said one of his 3 rules beforehand was like, he can't talk to your dead nan for you. And so this was like his way of connecting with the people that have passed on in my life. And so many people I haven't met because he said there was like a whole army of people protecting me, like guardian angels. And so that was so cool. And that was just like, honestly, I was blown away. We were crying and we connected. I think Tapahia and I connected a lot on a spiritual level. I'm quite a spiritual person. I believe in spirituality and stuff. And he said I probably helped him with the reading as much as he helped me. Like it was a good balance. And so I was thinking that's cool. I felt like I was kind of connecting with him. And some readings go for 20 minutes, half an hour, but our one was an hour 25. Like it just went on for ages. And so that was so cool. Like that he said everyone was standing behind me. And then he was saying like he was getting these so channels is like all the channels he connects with of you. And he said like he's never had anyone else that he's had so many channels with. Someone might be listening and think, hey, he said that with me too. But he said to me he's never had so many channels where he's connected with someone before. So that was crazy to hear. Like he connected with me a lot. And then he said he got a channel to say that he should ask for my autograph. He said I've like a sense that you're going to do some big things in this world. And so that was cool to hear. And he said, whatever it is you do, he said, I think you're going to do it big. So it was cool. Definitely worth it. Honestly, the Romiromi and the reading, I both said to them at the same time, oh, are we finished? Like, man, I live life so, like, I love spirituality. And they were both such deep, wider spiritual experiences that I just really didn't want them to end. And so it was crazy, my experience with the reading and my first time connecting with my pop. And as he said, my pop he couldn't connect with me because I'm a physical being. So he found his way to me through Tapahia. And then, yeah, so, there's a few more things in there that I won't share, like, just cause we're going for a while. It's not too deep, but I think I pretty much shared the majority of the deep ones. There was another one where he came up to me and he said he just got another channel to do this. And so he came up and he kissed me on the forehead and he walked away and he said, I'll see you again soon. And so, and that was a bit freaky, and I'm still trying to figure out what that really means, because he said that was someone coming to give him a message. And I said, what does the message mean? And he said, the person, whoever it was, he said so it was a guy, a man, he said he is just on his way around to kiss everyone else, and he said he'll be back soon. So I was thinking, is my pop gonna take a break from me for a bit? Is he in this room right now? Well, I'm still struggling to figure that out. So, yeah, that was a deep thing. That was kind of towards the end too. So it left me kind of like, oh damn, what's going on? What's going to happen? And I was a bit, freaked out. But yeah, the rest of the day and yesterday was the day after it. I was just living kind of like in a bit of a trance. Like I was living in stillness, I guess. Like, damn, did that really happen? All that stuff, was my pop really there? And like, I believe that, not that I didn't believe it, but just like it was so raw, and it's still taking some time to reflect. So I was going to do this podcast yesterday, but I just decided I'll give it a day just to brew, and then I can share some of my thoughts. And I'm just looking at, it's about half an hour right now. So I'm about to wrap this up soon, but those are all my experiences with the Romiromi and the psychic reading. I definitely 100% recommend both of them to everyone. Like, some people can get freaked out because they don't want to hear too much about their life, but I'm a kind of person where everything happens for a reason. So, and I kind of just go with the flow. Like if things happen, I don't mind hearing. I believe that whatever, if a psychic says this bad thing's going to happen to you, I believe that's going to be for a reason. So I don't mind hearing that stuff too much. So yeah, Tapahia Heke, you can find him on Facebook, Instagram. I'm not too sure the lady's name who done my, Romiromi. I think her name was Maria. Maria. I don't know how you can find her anywhere, but Tapahia Heke. You can search him up online too. I searched him up and there's a few articles about him doing his superhero readings. He's looking to go back to LA next year, I think. So if you do want to inquire, I think I'm allowed to shout him out. You can online. Kaya, my partner, she also got a reading too, and our friends did as well. But yeah, it was so deep, and I just thought I'd share my experiences because I've had a few people ask already, and I've explained it a lot of times. And then I went to go write it on Instagram last night, and it didn't all fit. So I was thinking, what better way than to just jump on a podcast? If someone wants to listen to it, they can. If no one, it's really just a good place to put it out there in case anyone asks, how was your experience with the reading? I can just direct them to this podcast. So, yeah, that pretty much wraps up this episode. This is episode 4 of Yarns with Marns. Thank you again for tuning in. Hopefully I didn't ramble on too much. Hopefully you got a fair idea of what it was like, and maybe you want to get a reading or a romiromi sometime soon from hearing my experiences. It would mean the world to me if you could share this podcast around, like it, comment, just take a screenshot of you listening to it, share it on your story and tag me, and maybe send it to a friend. It would just mean the world to me if you can help this podcast grow, and so I can continue to do this too. So thank you for tuning in to episode 4 of Yarns with Marns, my experiences with Romiromi and psychic superhero reading from Tapahia Heke. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you got some value out of it. And I'll see you guys again in the next episode. Peace and love. Let's go.